Hi, I'm Harry, and today I'm going to talk about another Will Smith film called Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys is a franchise that started in 1995 featuring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They're sort of cop buddy movies, and with there being a huge gap after Bad Boys 2, which came in 2003, now we're in 2020, and we see the two guys as middle-aged men, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, coming back for another run together. And I wouldn't say that I was a huge fan of the Bad Boy franchise, but it was perfectly entertaining. And this movie did take things to a new level, to where you look at Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 and the villain is kind of meaningless. He's like the typical 80s drug cartel leader that we don't really know anything about, but yet he kidnaps a pretty girl. So I guess the heroes feel like they have to go and stop this guy because the pretty girl means something to them. But in this movie it's very different. The main antagonist is somebody that's got a connection with Will Smith, who plays as Mike Lowry. So this movie has things be much more personal than the other two did. We see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence working together. I mean, you can watch these guys and you can see they work really well together. They're almost like brothers, and it's just so much fun seeing the two of them. We see Martin Lawrence playing as Marcus Burnett, and he's like this married man who is having a hard time with his wife. He argues with her a lot. He's very comedic, he's funny, but yet he's constantly afraid that his wife is going to find out what he's doing and he'll end up in trouble, whereas Will Smith plays as Mike Lowry, who's like this unmarried, really charismatic ladies man. And yeah, the two of them as a duo is spectacular. Now, the main antagonist in this one is somebody who is really intelligent, really powerful. We don't know who he is, at least not for a while, and it's really shocking later. He goes around killing specific targets, people that Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett care very much about, so they both feel that they have to stop whoever this guy is. This movie took the comic relief to a new level for sure, as we can see the two guys like cracking jokes and they're in some really funny situations. There's a lot of CGI in this film when we see explosions, buildings collapse. It could really keep you on the edge of your feet, but some of the lack of realism with the CGI I felt did make some of the moments a lot more meaningless. The movie took place in Miami, Florida, which was the same place as the other two, and the beaches, the scenery, the city, it was quite beautiful. I liked seeing the place at night. This is a mild spoiler, but I'm not going to spoil too much. We find something very dark about Mike Lowry's past, and he's got some estranged cuckoo relationship with this woman that I guess he was in love with long ago, not anymore, and she turns out to be a witch. They had a son together, and we don't know about it till now, but that just took things to a whole new level. It's almost harder to want to fight against this villain when it's your own son. And I'm going to talk about something that's very unrealistic. The way that Mike Lowry discovered that this cuckoo crazy guy, this cuckoo crazy son out murdering specific targets as his son, is because there was like this two-word phrase in Spanish that him and his cuckoo wife made up, which, let's face it, it's not very realistic. Two words wouldn't give that kind of message, but yet in this film, it did. And yet the ending was typical. They stop our main antagonist, we stop that cuckoo mother of his, and of course the son ends up in prison, but Mike Lowry, being like this detective, is able to cut a deal with him to where maybe he can get out and live a life after all. And of course there might be a Bad Boys 4 sometime, but we don't really know. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence will probably be relatively old by that time, but maybe they could still do it. But I would say this film was probably a little bit better than the other two, but I didn't think it was great. It was just a typical cop buddy movie. It might be similar to Rush Hour. You know, Rush Hour was very entertaining, not my all-time favorite film. I'm not a huge fan of cop buddy movies, but what I will say is they're very entertaining and have a lot of epic action-packed scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment below. Stay tuned till next time. Thank you.